In my lifetime, Africa will become a superpower in wealth. Africa has the resources, the ability, and the people to grow into an economic superpower. It is the richest continent already in terms of natural resources. 30% of the world's cobalt, diamonds, gold, and iron are in Africa. Africa also has huge wealth in oil. Nigeria produces more than 2.5 million barrels of oil per day. Africa already has a booming pharmaceutical industry, and huge progress is being made in fighting back against disease and infections in African countries. More and more African children are going back into school and are being provided with education and improving hygiene practices. Africa is ideally located for global dominance in trade, with close trading connections to Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The east coast of Africa has access to the Indian Ocean, which, with the ongoing rise of the Chinese and Indian economies, could become the new centre of global trade. So the potential is already there, and the growth is already beginning. Even now, Africa is the continent in the world with the fastest economic growth. So if you're someone here today who thinks that Africa will never catch up with the rest of the world, I want to say that you will be proved wrong. With its mammoth population, massive potential, and amazing stores of resources, within your lifetime, Africa will become an economic superpower.
What is a consultant? A consultant is somebody who provides advice or some kind of service in response to a request. Typically, they do this in return for a fee in a professional capacity. Put simply, they are paid to give expert advice or training on a specific subject. Consultants work in IT, management, the military, finance, engineering, education, business, and many other fields. There are internal and external consultants. Internal consultants give advice to people who work in the same company they do. External consultants are not on the payroll and staff of the organization. Internal consultants are useful for companies that have a continuing need for their knowledge and skills. Good consultants need to have more than just expertise in their field. Consultants must have emotional intelligence that matches their IQ. In other words, they must be able to communicate and relate effectively with people, as well as being able to manage themselves and know how to deal with stress. In the world of consultancy, the technical and human dimensions are equally important. In medicine, a consultant in the UK is a senior specialist, that is, an expert in their field. They are typically head of a department or very high up. The head of urology in a UK hospital, for example, is a urology consultant. In the US, a consultant is a qualified practitioner whose opinion is sought by doctors. Unlike the UK consultant, the US one has no relationship with the patient. The verb to consult means to seek the advice or the opinion of an expert. You should consult a lawyer means that you should ask a lawyer for their advice. To consult also means to refer to a database or book. For example, I can say, I did not know what that word meant, so I consulted a dictionary. Thank you for watching this brief video on consultants.